Hi, thanks for watching. I made this logo, just sketched it out in the old sketch pad and then decided that it should be turned into a vector graphic using Adobe Illustrator. So starting with the pen tool, I kind of roughed out the letters loosely following the sketch that I had made. RAD. So using the selection tool, direct selection tool, and kind of nudging the points around, working out the curves, I was able to form the letters, rotate them around. Okay, so here now I'm working on the backdrop using the subtraction tool in the Pathfinder. Made the backdrop. Now I'm looking for a font for the subtext below rad surf gear. Working on the tracking, spreading it out, giving it that surfy feel, you know. And of course this is a retro based logo, so I don't know if this is too hip today, but I don't know. The 80s are classic, aren't they? Alright, so I'm pretty happy with the 1988. Using one of my favorite tools is the stroke width tool. Basically with any stroke or line, you can grab corners or make your own and kind of warp the stroke width instead of having to make it into an object and then messing with points. You can play right with the stroke width. So working on spacing, give it a little curve for some interest, kind of attract your eye, I hope. Looks like I'm getting happy with this here. Looking cool. Alright, some more custom lettering here. Of course it's intended to be a little rough. You know those surfers, you gotta watch them. Alright, so working on kind of like the weight of the lettering and same thing with the stroke width tool. I've played around with that a bit. Put this over top. Got the right rotation, working on the weight. Of course I revisit every one of these items again just to kind of nudge it after I've stepped back and looked at it again. But so far so good. Alright, that circular element in the background, I'm going to cut it out now. Using the Pathfinder tool again, I'll be cutting one shape from the other, which I've done here. And I'll kind of fine tune these two swooshes now. So looking back at the logo, it's time to make the waves. Gotta have some waves in your surf logo. So I was happy with these. I made a couple different wave forms, but I think I like these the best. So adjust, scale, and add, subtract. Move them around, of course. And I usually have a happy accident. I think in this case I overlapped them here and I like that look. It looked like they were kind of sawing into each other, so I went with that instead of spreading them apart equally. But I think intentionally it's a bit busy. So art is subjective. I don't know that I'm breaking any rules here, but I would say that it is busy, but probably to a point. Working on the cross hatching here. It's one thing that is frustrating, I think, to get good at is to combine complicated shapes, make a compound path, and then subtract another compound path. In this case, I'm subtracting the word rad from those lines. Instead of just masking it, I'm actually deleting those lines. Okay, working on a little drop shadow here for the top and bottom swoosh. And then I'll delete that part, fill it black. And we should be getting to the point now. I'm going to be playing with some color. I think for the color palette I had in mind would be like primary colors but muted, kind of that surfy light green, red, yellow. Let's see what I came up with. Nope, still working on highlights here, which I think I revisit later, but you'll see. There's some blue, background color, subtracting some shapes within shapes here. Oh, there we go. So after playing with it some more and, you know, even messing with the waves, kind of making it a little rougher, grungier, I think that's what I came up with. I was pretty happy with. I don't know how it reads now. I'm looking at it again and doing this commentary after I've made the logo. But I'd estimate creating this took me about probably an hour. And maybe about 20 minutes to cut the video down. And now I'm just watching it over and giving you the play-by-play here. So I'm giving it a little grunge texture on top, which, unless you're really close up, zoomed in, you can't really see that, but it always adds in a little extra feel, texture. So what did I come up with? A greenish blue, pinkish red, and yellow. So they're kind of like muted primaries. I think I'm getting pretty happy now with what we've come up with. Another highlight for the top and bottom swoosh. And of course there's my favorite warp tool. I'm always warping things just to give it a little extra feel like surfing gears and a slight arch now. So there's the sketch, and there's what we did on screen, and of course applied to a flat-brimmed baseball cap. I used the mesh tool, and just for simplicity I make the grid 1-to-1 so I can just grab the point and those handles and kind of warp it into shape to fit around the curvature of the hat, since the hat's not facing front on. You have to kind of play with it a little bit to give it that perspective. Little rotate, a little more warpage, and I think we're looking pretty cool here, huh? Pretty rad, we'll say. There you have it. I think I'd wear that hat. Surf gear, baby, from 1988. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I think we'll get into more detail on the exact method for every tool and how to use it, but we'll have to do that next time. See ya.